Now, in this session, we're going to talk about dissolving rules. Remember, when you're a child, because it kept you safe to do so, you created rules. They were based on what the tribe told you. Things like boys don't cry, girls don't get angry, don't be jealous, all those things. Now, the situation really is to be whole, you have to be able to experience all the emotion. Now, this is really difficult for society. Many people can't experience emotion anymore because they have suppressed it. And people move toward doing things because they think they'll feel better in the doing of it. That's why we look outside of ourselves for finding some relief, finding love. Because ultimately, we were born as loving beings and we were fragmented as we grew up. When we created our rules, our internal legal system, our self-limiting beliefs, whatever you want to call them, they fragmented us. And being fragmented meant that we were no longer whole, and we're perfect anyway. But this is part of the game of life, to expand and grow and experience what it's like to travel through these emotions. So there are certain experiences that you need to have to grow. So for example, if you're told, and this is the majority of the male population, I believe, is boys don't cry. This is in effect diminishing society's ability to nurture, because men are really important in bringing in their compassionate side. Just as women are it's equally as important for women to embrace their masculine, like the ability to be angry. But those emotions, they're there to flow through you, not to be held on to. And like anger, yeah, be angry. It's a reaction. It's informing you that, oh, something might be stepping into my space, or whoa, what's this about? And then as soon as you've felt it or it's washed over you, it's done its job. Emotion, energy in motion, allow it to flow through. So what we need to do to start experiencing all our emotion is to find where we've cut ourselves off from our emotional source. And those were times in childhood. Now they're unconscious. It's like we have people in, say, yoga class, for example. They're doing their very best, and they get off their yoga mat bringing peace into the world. Oh, I have peace, it feels wonderful, until someone cuts them off in traffic. Then they want to do a little road rage. And where did that come from? They often don't know. It's the unconscious. It's the unconscious. You don't love me, you cut me off. I know what you're thinking. But the truth of the matter is, we don't have control over anybody else but ourselves. And this is all going back to our ability to respond to a situation. Now, recall when we created the rule, we said to ourselves, my response isn't valid. My immediate reaction as a child, my immediate emotional response was to cry at the situation or get angry. Yet the tribe said no, so I stuffed all that down. I felt that my response, my natural response, wasn't valid. However, it was perfectly valid for you to do what you did. So the idea about finding where you created the rule is to go back to that space in time and say, wow, actually, that was a valid response. I do have the ability to respond to life perfectly. And this is self-validation. This is the self-love we're looking for. This is what gives us peace. So, but that's the tricky part. It's also called the human shadow, and it's in the dark. So you need to know where to find it. Now, usually, the best place to start locating is when you've got a negative emotion, a negative feeling. You can feel it somewhere in your body. Now, I have a few little techniques that I can take you through on that. But there's a beautiful thing I just loved. When someone says, you're an idiot, you've got one finger pointing out and three pointing back. Your life is a reflection, or the world is a reflection of what you think of you. Indeed, people say talk about karma a lot. And what I say is, karma is really how you're seeing the world. If you're responding to something negatively, then you're getting a negative response from the world. The world looks bad to you. If you're seeing the best you possibly can in every situation, then the world looks like a great place to you. It's your reflection of it. You can choose absolutely any situation. Like I did in my family law matter, I saw the negative emotion that I felt when I was getting the accusing lawyers' letters as, what's that bad feeling? And I sat with it, and I sat right in it instead of running off and trying to find some self-gratification in chocolate. I sat with it and thought, what is this feeling? Because it was awful. And what I found was, for me, I was carrying a guilt with me. And I'll be prepared to talk about what that guilt was that arose later. It's pretty deep, but it doesn't matter what it is. I found it, and I said to myself, you know what? It's okay to feel like you've done the wrong things. And it happened in childhood. I was told I did the wrong thing. And I carried that guilt with me for many years, and it kept playing out. I'm the victim. I'm guilty. No, not so. As a child, I immediately had a natural response to my environment, but I was told it was wrong. As I said, that's not blaming the tribe. No way. They had their own responses. Their tribe told them, and the tribe before them told them, and it's time for us to cut the link. So by me finding that guilt, simply bringing that into consciousness was enough to dissolve the rule that I created, that I have to be a certain way, that I have to be this or that, else I'm a guilty person. I'm a victim. No, I'm not a victim. But I could be. It's being acceptable. I could feel like that, I could feel like this. It's the ability to feel everything. So that's what's going to, for you, is to find where you're feeling bad. And it's really just checking in with your emotions all the time. Stop thinking it. We have been taught to think, especially lawyers have been taught to think and think and think. If I think this and I think that, you can't think through anything and resolve it. You can look at some possibilities, yes, but how do they feel? And that's really getting back in touch with your feeling self and in your feeling body. And in due course, I'll offer up some guidelines on how you can get into your feeling body and start feeling life, because that is your indicator. And until you can really feel everything, you're really a little bit lost. So if you're using the legal system now, or your relationship, and there's a negative emotion, thank it. It's showing you a rule you've created, and that is just the best thing ever. Those rules, when you dissolve them, start bringing you back to a place of peace and satisfaction with your life. You've no idea how good it feels. I'm literally in paradise. I feel that. Yes, things still come up for me, but I know how to deal with them so quickly to get my center back. It's been the best experience of my life. And I hope it can be for you too. And I'm here to guide you. You can make a booking to see me, and because everyone's circumstances are very individual, and we'll talk about that as we go. But thank you all so much, and I really hope you got some benefit out of these videos. Thanks.